women really are conditioned to look for love in anything but ourselves. I talk on here a lot about how so many men are like Kens, because under patriarchy, they're dead inside, right? They're looking for us for validation all the time. They look to us for to give them things, right? Because they won't do it for themselves, right? It's domination, exploitation, all these things, but also just not even having feelings or understanding how, they have feelings, but not learning the skills to learn how to talk about them and deal with them, blah, 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 right? But have you met women? We have a lot of problems. It just looks different. A lot of men don't know themselves, again, because they're seeking outside validation, but so are we. How many women don't even know what they like? How many women are afraid to spend time alone? I can't tell you how many women where they're so afraid to spend a night alone. Now, usually these are younger women. Once women have been married, and especially if they've had kids with a king baby who wouldn't do anything, most married women with children would do anything to be alone, right? They would do anything to have one night alone without somebody who needs something from them, right? But so many women who are and not married with kids are in the opposite situation. Now, I've been very comfortable being alone for most of my life. A little too comfortable. I was like a lone wolf, and I've talked about that. I've actually operated much like a man, minus the privilege and power and need to dominate things the way a man has, right? Particularly cishet men. But I mean, come on. We all know women who will jump from one relationship to the next. They're never single. They just keep dating one crappy guy after another and don't ever seem to learn. Why do you think that is? Why? If only they could love themselves and pour into themselves the way they pour into other people. And honestly, some of this comes from codependency within our own family systems, right? A lot of us literally know no other way to operate because that's what we saw, right? That is normal to us. And so we have to do a lot of work on ourselves to unlearn that. But it's also by design. When I started realizing that my codependency is not just personal, and I'm chronically codependent, almost died from my codependency, right? But when I started to realize, oh my God, this isn't just personal. This is systemic. Under capitalism, patriarchy, white supremacy culture, and all this stuff, women are conditioned to just give and give and give and give and take care of everything, everyone, right? While men get to be these individualists who are dead inside and exploited too, but just in different ways. And it sucks for all of us. It sucks more for women. It sucks more for Black, Indigenous, and people of color, and the LGBT community, and disabled folks. And you know what I mean? It sucks for everybody in some way more than others. But the whole goal, and especially of us being obsessed with romantic partnerships, it's terrible. We're not supposed to find everything in one other person. I am very much into, I healed in community, not alone. I had to do a lot of work on my own by not being in a relationship with a man who's going to distract me from all the stuff I need to be discovering about myself and healing in myself, right? Because a lot of these men are just distractions. And that's why so many women never heal, is because they have this giant life-sucking distraction all the time. But I really did heal in community, especially with other women who had similar problems as me. I healed with my relationship. My best friend Liz has healed so much of this stuff, and my trust issues, and learning how to love, and learning how to have hard conversations, and learning how to navigate around someone else. Because honestly, I was just ready to just be a lone wolf the rest of my life. And Liz is the only reason why I was able to have I credit her for being able to have a marriage, right? She taught me that part of growing is learning how to you discover yourself in relation to someone else. But in this system, it's too risky for women to be doing that with men when we have too much unhealed trauma, and especially codependency. And then on a systemic level, we've been taught our whole lives, just pour, obsess, have your finger up everyone else's butt, but not even not your finger, oh my God, a thermometer up everyone else's butt, but never stick it up your own to see, how do I feel? What do I think? How am I doing? Right? And so a big part of my message is to help women stop doing all the things that we've been doing with men, that we've been taught to do with men, to learn how to do that for ourselves. And that desire for connection and love and all that stuff, pour that into your community, into friendships, because that's where it's at. And especially because a lot of people honestly thought I was going to die not ever knowing what real love was, And I was okay with that. I never fully gave up. But then I was like, what do you mean? Like the love that I have between me and my best friend Liz, that is real love. The love that I have between me and my sister, that's real love. You know, I have real love with a lot of people. Just because it doesn't involve this doesn't mean it's not real love, you know? So I mean, my message isn't just, you know, fork love, never date, never anything again. My problem is that a lot of women don't have been hijacked into relationships. Now they chose to be in those relationships usually, but stayed in those relationships because of our former trauma, our conditioning under patriarchy, you know, all of these things, trauma responses and stuff. And then we come out of them being like, oh my God, I'm dead. I have never felt so dead. Just less than a year with one man who is a sociopath, you know, like the violent, terrifying man. I have never felt so disconnected to myself in my whole life. I mean, I literally, that was the closest I've ever felt to just like spiritually dead. Didn't even have the energy or the will to dance, you know? And I like to dance to techno in the morning sometimes, be like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like I do so many things to just bring myself joy on a regular basis. I wasn't even doing that. I remember I got up and I was like, and I was like, no. And that scared the crap out of me. And that was one man. And that was like not even a year, y'all. So, you know, like the relationship I have with my husband is so beautiful. And I'm discovering so much about myself. And I'm coming into a new version of myself that I love. And I feel so safe and so secure and so seen. And I love this man so much and I respect him so much. And we teach each other so much. But I believe that I'm lucky, but more importantly, one of the only reasons why I'm in this relationship is because I worked so hard for so long on my codependency and the decentering of men, and, you know, literally almost died learning my big hard lesson about how much men can ruin your lives. But I mean, I've been working on this stuff for, I don't know, 15 years. I've been in therapy since I was a teenager, but I mean like hard work. It is so in me, y'all. Because if I had met my husband any sooner, even a year before I did, maybe even 6 months before I did, either I wouldn't have been interested in him because I'd have been like, boring. You know, security, safety, comfort. That's boring. I want excitement. Because love is about being on your toes and wondering if they love you and being breadcrumbed and ignored and all that stuff, right? That's what I grew up with. Or B, if I wasn't just not interested in him, I would have like all my trauma responses would have ruined this right away. There's a couple times I almost sabotaged this in the beginning because of my trauma responses. Luckily though, I had community to keep me in check. When I wanted to blow this thing up because he didn't call one day when I wanted him to, he called, but he was held up at work. He had a legit excuse as to not call when I was like, because I just want to be like, yep, he's just like the rest of them. Fork this guy, I'm done, bah! You know? And I didn't do that. I called my best friend Liz and I was like, I hate him. And she was like, Melanie, I think maybe this is a trauma response happening right now. Don't text him. Just calm down. Take care of yourself. Woo! I'm glad I didn't blow up his phone with like, fork you don't really care, right? So yeah, I'm not saying give up on love. What I'm saying is this takes so much unlearning and so much healing on our own and in community and with friends, because so many of us are just trying to fix somebody and we're using men as a distraction from ourselves, and it's not going well. And we end up feeling more alone in relationships than we would ever felt just alone. And part of that is because under this system, and patriarchy has never taught us to or told us to or even wanted us to pour into ourselves and love ourselves, not alone individual style, but in community, and also time alone and discovering who we are. That stuff is so important, which is why dating yourself and focusing on community and friendships, I believe, is the key to even having a shot at a dating life that's fulfilling.